Well, it's been an awful long time since I've been back to this game, and to be honest, I've kind of dreaded coming back after last time because it got real fucking depressing, didn't it? Anyway, I guess I gotta soldier on and try and see if I can actually save Mayuri, doesn't it? Hey there guys, my name is Nix and welcome back to Steins. I don't want to talk about last time, so let's just move on, shall we? A flood of sound beats in my eardrums. My controller doesn't seem to want to work. There we go. Good start. When it subsides, I find myself in the lab again. It's just before 5. I have 2.5 hours before Mayuri dies. I find myself staring at the time leap machine. This thing is the reason for Moeka's attack. If only we'd never built the foam wave. If only we'd never sent those D-mails. Perhaps the future might be different instead of the nightmare it promises now. Would anything change if I broke it? Just smashed it to pieces right here? In Ocean Delirium, I grab a chair and lift it high over my head. Just as I'm about to bring it crashing down on the infernal machine, a voice cries out. Stop, Okabe! What are you doing? Kurisu grabs my arm and pulls me back. Are you trying to break the machine? You don't have to break it, Okabe. We already decided not to experiment, remember? Anyway, put the chair down. I lower the chair slowly. Not because Kurisu told me to, but because I realized what would happen if I really did break the machine. It caused, or will cause, Mayuri's death, but at the same time, it's also my only chance of averting that future. If I lose it, I lose my only hope of saving her. The fear of that outcome stayed my hand. You look pale. What's wrong? Are you listening? I can't deal with this. Not now. Wait! I flee from the lab. I don't have a particular destination in mind. People look at me strangely as I shuffle down the street. I imagine I look like I must have crawled up from a grave. Soon I get fed up with the crowd around the station and escape to the pedestrian overpass. I get about halfway across the bridge and squat down on the concrete. The giant screen on the UPX building is advertising some gothic punk band. The ticker at the bottom displays today's weather forecast along with the date and time. I realize that today is Friday the 13th. Is there no way to get through today without Mayuri dying? It's already 5:30, 2 hours until the attack. The lights around Akihabara Station turn on one by one as the sun sets. The moe might be gone from Akiba, but the area around the station is still as posh as ever. I don't belong here. The bridge I'm sitting on has become a date spot for couples. I see them standing here and there, gazing at the cityscape with their arms wound around each other. Somehow, they never seem to tire of the dull, unchanging scenery. What am I doing here? Mayuri's about to die. Hey, don't you think you're a little low to be sitting on the ground in public? I lift my head and see Kurisu standing there, with this really fucking dominating pose, I'm not gonna lie. Well, this is where you went. I've been looking for you.
No.
Christina. What? What time is it now? 5:38. Hey, you have time to sit around, then you have time to help me with the shopping. Shopping? Oh, right. Preparations for the party. In the original timeline, I went shopping with Kurisu at the UPX supermarket. And then we talked on this bridge, just like now. It feels like so long ago. Back then I had no idea what was about to happen.
どうなの？
Well,
買い出し
You gonna
来る
come
のか
along
来
or
ないの
not?
か。
I sigh deeply. I don't believe that it was wrong to time leap. However, Kurisu. I keep my eyes lowered.
初めて
That's the first time you said my name properly. I feel her eyes on me. Help me. I can't save Mayuri alone. I realize that now. Reliving today again and again, only to taste the same despair each time, has taught me one important lesson. Alone, I am powerless. Alone, I have no hope. Help me.
話して。
Tell me what happened.
あんたがタイムリープしたのは分か
I
る。
know you used the time leap machine. What? I look up in surprise. Kurisu doesn't meet my stare. Instead, she leans on the guardrail and gazes down at the plaza with her usual frown.
あんたに誰かから電話がかかってきたと思った
You
ら
get a phone call and suddenly you're like a different person.
私の目はごまかせ
It
ない。
was obvious.
3時間後から来た。
I came from 3 hours in the future.
何があった？
What happened?
マユリが
They killed Mayuri. I lower my head, trying to hold back the tears. Then I explain about CERN and Moeka, and about how Kurisu herself activated the time leap machine and made this possible. I tell her about my previous leaps. I explain that the world itself wants Mayuri dead, and that I can't save her no matter how I try. I keep talking for 30 minutes straight. During that time, Kurisu hardly says a word.
すべて俺の
It's
責
all
任
my fault. Talking to Kurisu let me sort out everything I've done, everything I've seen.
セルンにハッキングしろなんて
I shouldn't have told Dara to hack
誰に
CERN.
頼まなければよかったタイムマシーンを作ろう
I
なんて
shouldn't have asked you to build a time
言い出さ
machine.
なければよかったモエカをラボメンになん
I
て
should
す
have
るんじゃ
made
なかっ
Moeka a lab mem.
たマユリが死ぬのは
Mayuri's death.
すべて
It's all my fault.
俺の責任なんだ
That's why I needed to bear the burden myself. I was resolved to do whatever it took to save Mayuri, never faltering and never giving up. And yet, my resolve has already crumbled.
そんなまずいことが起きようとしてる
If you
の
know
に
that Mayuri's going to
あ
die,
んた
then
は
what
なん
are
で
you doing
ここ
wasting
でぼんや
time
りしてる
here?
の？
Kurisu's tone is haughty. Is that how I sound when I'm playing Hyo and Kyoma?
わからなくなったからだ
I just don't get it anymore.
わからないって。
What don't you get?
マユリを助ける方
How to save Mayuri?
あんたの話を聞いた限りじゃ
Based on what you've
時
said,
間
I guess
順
the
序保護
chronology
仮説は
protection
本当だ
conjecture
っ
is
たっ
true.
てことになるのかな。
何をしても
No matter what I do,
どうやっても
Mayuri dies.
マユリ
だからタイムリ
And that's why you
ー
keep
プ
time
を延々と
leaping.
繰り返したタイムリープマシンは
There's no guarantee
理
that
論
the
上
machine
絶
is
対
safe,
安
you
全だ
know.
と証明されているわけじゃない。
Kurisu lowers her gaze and cups her chin, as she often does when she's assessing a problem.
これまでは何事
Even
も
if
な
the
く成
machine
功し
works
てたかもしれ
perfectly,
ないけど
repeated use may have serious side
繰り返し
effects.
使うことでどんな影響が出るかもわからない。もしかしたら
For example,
時間
you
の
may
輪
become disconnected
つま
from
り
causality
因果
itself.
率から外れるかもしれない。あんたはそんな危険を
You
冒して
need to
るの。
understand the risks if you're going to continue.
因果率から外れる
Disconnected from causality, meaning?
SF 小説によくあるでし
It
ょ。
happens all the time in
閉じた時
sci-fi.
間の輪の中で
You'll become trapped in a
永遠にさまよい
closed time
続ける
loop, never aging and never
永
dying,
久に年は
but
取らな
doomed
い
to
けど
repeat the same day
永
for
久
all
に同じ日から
eternity.
は出られなくなる。最悪の場合
Worst
なかった
case,
こと
you
にされ
may
る
cease
可
to
能性
exist
だってある。
entirely. What?
存在の抹消。
Every trace of your
あんたの
existence will vanish.
18年だか
Nobody will
19
remember
年だ
you
かの
because
人
your
生の
life will
痕
have
跡
never
すべてを
happened.
あらゆる時間を飛び越えること
Leaping
は
through time is
それ
that
だけ危険なの
dangerous.
よ。
人間は根源的に
Humans are
時
temporal
間的存在
beings.
者で
Kurisu looks surprised.
ハイデガーね。
Hi, Dega.
私も今
I was
そ
thinking
の
of that
言葉を
quote.
言おうと思ってた。
お前から教わった言
I
葉。
heard it from you first.
いつ？
When?
俺は
This isn't the first time
もう
I've
何度もタイムリープ
leaped.
している。
Right.
なるほど。
Of course. Kurisu squats next to me, thinking deeply.
あんたの話が本当だったとして、
If what you said is true,
マユ
then
リ
I
を
want
助
to
けたい
save
気持ちは
Mayuri too.
私だって同じよ。でも、タイムリ
But
ー
as
プ
the
マシン製
co-creator
作
of
に
the
関
time
わっ
leap
た人間
machine,
の一
I
人と
can't
して、
recommend its continued
そ
use.
れを何度も使うことは勧められない。あんたは
Will you listen to my advice?
もがく。
俺は
I can't do it alone. I know that now.
だから
I need your
お前の
help.
助けを求めたんだ。もがくために、
I have to save Mayuri.
マユリを助けるために。
If I can't do it alone, I can't do it alone, but
俺一人じゃ
together we might have a chance.
クリスの
I
協力が
want-
あれば何とか
I
でき
need
る
to
かもしれない
believe that.
できると信じたい。力を
Please, lend me your strength. Kurisu sighs.
無茶しやがって。
You're such a stubborn fool.
あんた、壊れてても
You've been
おか
through.
しくなかったんだからね。
I'm surprised it hasn't broken you already. Incredibly, she sounds concerned for me. She looks at me for a moment and then turns away as if embarrassed.
協力は、
I'll help.
ただし、
Anyway,
あ
I'm
んた
not
のため
doing
に
this for
協
you,
力するわけ
okay?
じゃないから。全部、
I'm doing it for
Mayuri のため。
Mayuri.
あ
Yeah,
あ、当たり前だ。
of course.
それに、あんたを被験者にすれば、
That,
いいデータが取れそうだ
that,
し。
and I think you'll make a good test subject.
それはつまり
Now you're
セルの
talking
人
like
体実験
CERN.
を肯定するということか。
全然違う。
It's completely different.
どこが
How so?
被験者が
I
岡
only
で
experiment
という
on
ところ
you.
が。マッドサイエンティストとしては、
Besides,
自分自身
mad
を平
scientists
気で実
experiment
験台
on
にするんで
themselves
し
all
ょ
the。time, don't they?
何せ、マットだ。
そうだな。
I guess. I'm no longer afraid to time leap. I'll do anything to save Mayuri.
冗談よ。
It's just a
本気に
joke.
するの。
Don't take it so seriously. Kurisu stands up and looks at her watch.
さて、もうあんまり
There's not
時
much
間もないか
time.
ら、こ
I
れか
think
ら
you
あ
should
た
have
ふ
a
たする
clear
より、
plan before trying to
もっ
change
と
the,
じっくり対
change the
策を練った
future
方がい
again.
い。
つまり
Meaning?
今からもっと
Leap
前
to
の
an
時間に
even,
飛んでお
leap
く。
to an even earlier time.
そこで
And
改め
explain
て
the
私
situation to me
に事情
again.
を説明して。
Kurisu's right. My actions so far have been almost entirely random, and look where that's gotten me. I need a real plan if I'm going to save Mayuri.
行こう。
Let's go. Kurisu stretches out her hand. I grasp it and pull myself up. Mayuri and Dara were already back when we returned to the lab. Suzuru is there too. To get rid of them, Kurisu and I explained that we forgot to do the shopping, so could they go please take care of it for us? I have to cough up the money to convince them to go, but it works.
マユリ本人はともかく、
I understand why you can't tell Mayuri, but why can't you tell Hashida?
必要になったら話す。
I'll tell him when it's necessary. For now, it's not, and I don't have time to explain. While Kurisu sets up the machine, I head downstairs to the Brawn Tube workshop, kick the door open and turn on the 42-inch CRT. That went more smoothly than I anticipated. It's highly illegal, of course, but I'll leap long before the cops get here. Kurisu looks shocked when I return to the lab.
住居侵入罪で逮捕
I
さ
thought
れ
you
る
were
わ
going
よ
to。slam her for breaking and entering.
どうせ過去に戻
In
れ
a few seconds, it won't have
ば今のは
happened.
なかったことになる。
Kurisu hands me the headgear and I put it on.
そっか。
I
あん
see.
たの主観じゃそうな
That's
る
how
わ
it
け。
looks from your perspective.
私の主観だとどうなるんだろう。
What does it look like
あん
from
た
your
が飛んだ後、
perspective? What happens here after you leap?
そのデータはすぐに取れる。
You'll know soon enough. My consciousness travels to the past. That I know from experience. But what about the body I leave behind? If time is a straight line, then it's likely that the present will be reconstructed based on my actions in the past. But if the many worlds interpretation holds, then after I leave, this world will continue on as if nothing had happened. I used to be so fascinated by the structure of the universe, but now I don't really care. All that matters is saving Mayuri. Kurisu's fingers stopped typing on the keyboard.
どうした？
What's wrong?
うん
It's nothing.
考えたら
I was just
思考
thinking.
がループしちゃってた
D メールのような状態になる。
Maybe it works like a D-mail. The instant we send a D-mail, the present changes around us. Thanks to reading Steiner, only I remember what it was like before the change.
その方が楽だけど
That would make things
Guias
easier. Though I kinda hope you're wrong.
データを観測できない。
Guess you can't collect data if you can't record the change.
そういうこと
Exactly. Kurisu nods and begins tinkering with the settings again.
転送先は5時間前
I'll
にし
set
て
the
おいた
destination to 5 hours ago.
午後1
You
時
should
40
arrive
分くらい
around 1:40 p.m.
覚えてる
I
私
completed
が
the
タイム
time
リ
loop
ープマシン
machine
を完成
just
させ
after
たの
2.
は
Do
2
you
時過ぎだ
remember? Barely. For Kurisu, that happened only 5 hours ago. For me, it feels like weeks. Maybe it has been weeks.
時間にルーズな男は
Nobody
嫌われ
likes a
る
man who can't remember dates.
感謝しなさいよ
Be thankful I
私は
made a
時計を
habit
よ
of
く見る
checking the
癖があって
time.
何時に
I have a
何
pretty
があ
good
ったか
idea of what
結構
happened
覚え
when.
てるの
Kurisu finishes typing and turns to face me.
いい岡部
Listen,
タイム
Okabe.
リープマシンを使うなら
If you're going to keep using the time loop
これだけは覚えておいて。
machine, there's one thing you must remember.
携帯電話は
Don't let go
絶
of your
対に
phone.
手放さない
Ever. It's
そ
your
れはあんたの
lifeline,
生命
your
線
destination marker.
局所場指定のマーカーなのそれさえ持ち続けてい
As
れ
long
ば
as you keep it with you, you
どの
can
時
leap
間
to
に
any
も
time
跳
you
躍はできる
want.
でももし
But if you
手放
lose
し
your
てしまって
phone,
誰か
if
に使
someone
わ
else
れ
gets
た
a
ら
hold of it, then if I leap to that time, my memories could overwrite theirs. I don't want to imagine what might happen next.
あるいは充電が切
If
れ
it
たり
breaks or the battery dies, then I won't be able to leap to that time. If it breaks, then I can get a new phone with the same number. But there will still be a period of time in which I can never leap.
タイムリープは
The time leap will
成功しない
fail.
だから絶
Once
対に
again,
携帯を手放しちゃダ
never
メ
let go of your phone.
了解だ。
Got it.
今日の昼間にタイムリープしたら
After you leap back
2
to
時
this
に私が
afternoon,
マ
just
シン
sit
を
tight
完
and
成さ
don't
せる
do
まで
anything
は
until I complete
あ
the
んたは
time leap
特
machine.
別なことはしてはいけないこれが完成しないと
If you accidentally
Tuk
prevent me
時間
from
までの
completing the
流れは
machine, it would likely
大きく
wreak
変わって
havoc
し
on
ま
the
う
timeline.
完成したらすぐに
As soon as I
実
finish,
験はしない
declare
って
that we will
宣
not
言して
experiment and then
全
send
員
everyone
解
home.
散させてそれから私
Ask
に
me
声
to
をかけ
stay.
てくれればいい
Tell me the truth.
未来から来たって言われれば
If you say you came from the future, I'll
私は信
probably
じる
believe you.
なんでわかる？
How do you know?
私のことは
He knows
私が
me
一番
better
よく
than
知ってる
myself. Kursu grins faintly and stands up after she's done typing.
そもそも電話レンジを改良して
It was my
タイ
mad
ムリープ
skills
マ
that
シン
turned
を
the
作った
phone
の
wave
は
into a time loop
私なのだぜ
machine.
さっきあんたからタイム
When
リ
you
ープ
told
し
me
てきたっ
about
て
your
言
time
われ
leap,
た時
I
は
took it as the
自
proof
分の
that
理
my
論が間違
theories
っ
were
てな
right.
かったって
I
思
was
えた
happy it
成
succeeded.
功してよか
It
ったっ
really
て
was.
思えた
I didn't doubt
何の疑問
it.
も
I
な
didn't
く
doubt it was true for a second. I see.
念のためにキーワードを
Just
決
to
め
be
ておきま
safe,
しょ
I should probably give you a passphrase.
う私の今一番欲しいものは
What I want most right
My
now is
fork
my
there.
own fork. Okay.
なに？
What?
あいや別に
It doesn't
いい
mean
なんて
anything,
ないから
okay?
な
マイフォークが欲しいのか？
You want your own fork?
マイスプーンはもう持ってるから
I already have my own spoon.
そこに
that doesn't
興味持つ
matter.
なはいはい
Everything's ready now. Get out of here.
いつでも行ける
I nod and call up the phone wave name subject to change.
気をつけて
Be careful. And remember,
私は
I'm always
いつだ
on
って
your
あんたの
side.
味方よ
Kurisu touches my shoulder and then steps away. God damn it, Amame, I don't want to doubt Kurisu. I mean, like, I mean, yeah, I guess Amame could have been the other help. She fucking knew about the attack, so, I don't know. I lie back on the sofa with my phone in hand. Needles in my brain. A whining? A whining in my ears. These sensations never get any easier to endure. Sorry, I made coffee before I started, and I should probably drink it before it gets cold. God knows I'm going to need something to keep me going through this. I look at the clock. It's about 1:45. There's a high school baseball game on TV. In about 15 minutes, Kurosu will finish the time leap machine. All it needs is some final adjustments, so there's nothing for me to do but wait. As the pain in my brain subsides, I realize that my head is throbbing. Why? Oh, I remember. Right before this, I had an argument with Mr. Braun in which he introduced his fist to my skull. Mayuri is at her sewing machine, working on her costume. Daru is at his computer, collecting moe artwork from the internet. Kurosu's in the development room, upgrading the time leap machine. I sit, motionless as the minutes tick by. Suddenly, the sound of the sewing machine stops. Okari! Can you come here? Mayuri shows me her costume. Can you hold this for me? Spread it out like whoop! Mayushi, say whap again. Whap! I got a whap! Stop it, perv. Follow Mayuri's directions and spread the costume out by the sleeves. Okay, thanks. Mayuri looks a little tired. She was working on this costume all night. But then she smiles, brighter than the sun. Well done! I said something here, didn't I? What was it? I can't remember. I finished before Christian! You were racing! You win, Mayuri. Congratulations. But I'm finished too. Kurosu finishes connecting the two cords she's holding. Complete. Alright, that's my cue. We're not experimenting. Eh? Crap, was that too soon? I just finished and you're already shutting it down? What have I been doing for these past 3 days? Time leaping presents a host of problems. I want to consider all of them carefully. Huh. That's an unusually respectable opinion coming from you. Problems? I thought it was done! I'll explain later. Everyone's tired, so let's go home. We're not gonna have a party to celebrate? We'll do that another day. I managed to convince Daru and Mayuri to leave. I lend Mayuri my phone charger since we use the same brand of phone. Kurosu tries to go home too, but I quietly keep her back. What? Are you upset? Yeah. Probably because I shut her down right after she finished the time leap machine. She'll feel relieved later, but only after she has time to fully consider its implications. I came here from 5 hours in the future. Kurosu spears me with a piercing glare. Is that supposed to be funny? Her narrowed eyes make me believe that looks can kill. Don't glare at me like that! This isn't right, you're supposed to believe me! When did you think I believed something like that? You told me so! 5 hours from now, okay? Don't be ridiculous. I would never make such a baseless projection. I'd like to have a word with future Kurisu. If this is how you're going to be, then you leave me no choice but to quote you word for word. When I told you about my time leap, you said, I took it as proof that my theories were right. I didn't doubt it was true for a second. Don't forget, it was my mad skills that turned the phone wave into a time leap machine. I don't talk like that. What you want most right now is your own fork. Kurisu's face suddenly turns red. You already have your own spoon, apparently. She said that? I'm gonna kill myself 5 hours from now. She appears genuinely shocked for some reason, but I'm pretty sure she believes me now. It's like someone peeked into my heart. That someone is Okabe of all people. What does she think I'm going to do? But I think I believe you. Tell me the details. I explain everything to Kurisu again. I'm able to organize my thoughts better since this is my second time. I see. If what you say is true, then we have a serious problem. There are 5 hours until Mayuri's death. We need to come up with a plan before then. Future me said the chronology projection was conjecture holds, but I don't think that's quite right. That conjecture says that according to quantum theory, time travel is impossible due to the danger of disrupting causality. When you time leap, there's a chance of a time paradox occurring. Two of me don't exist at the same time, and I can't bring anything with me to the past. All that changes is the memory stored in my temporal lobe. So at the very least, time leaping can't cause a grandfather paradox. So I was right. The universe itself is censoring me, correcting any changes I try to make. If that's true, then time leaping can't save Mayuri. Nothing you do will change the result. I can't accept that. Neither can I. The world is trying to kill Mayuri. As a scientist, I refuse to believe such nonsense. What about the many worlds interpretation? I just need to observe the world where Mayuri doesn't die. The many worlds interpretation. That might have something to do with how Mayuri means the... That might have something to do with how Mayuri's means of death keeps changing. It's supposed to be impossible for parallel worlds to observe each other. Why are you different? Because of my Esper power, reading Steiner. This is no time for your Chunibyo nonsense. There's no other explanation. You've mentioned the reading Steiner thing before. Were you actually serious? My lights are flickering and it's fucking creepy. Please stop. Why would I make something up like that? Our D-mail experiments prove that I can somehow perceive changes in the timeline when they occur. It's an ability that only I seem to possess. I don't know. I don't want to rely on something that may not even exist. Anyway, you can't control which possibilities you observe. Even if the many worlds interpretation holds true, it's unreasonable to expect that you would ever find a world where Mayuri doesn't die. Wait, we're not getting anywhere. Instead of analyzing what I've done, let's think about what we can do. Time leaping won't change the results. I just said that. Then what do we do? Calm down. How can I calm down? Do you know how many times I've seen Mayuri die? Covered in blood, gasping for breath, the light fading from her eyes. Again and again and again. And all I could do was watch. I hear my teeth grinding in my skull. Recalling that despair, the feeling of utter powerlessness, makes me want to lash out at everything within reach. Getting emotional won't solve anything. You only can't because you weren't there! True.
私には5時
I
間
don't
後
know
のこ
what
とはわ
happens
から
5
ない
hours from now.
正直なとこ
To
ろ
be honest, it doesn't
実
feel real
感が
at
湧か
all.
ないでも
It's
あん
not
たの
like
言
I
ってるこ
don't
とを
believe
信じて
you.
ないわけじゃ岡部がしっかりし
You
な
have
き
to
ゃ
stay strong, Okabe. Kurisu pats my arm. Her hand is warm and her touch is gentle. How American of her.
悪かった
Sorry. She's right. Getting emotional won't solve anything. I need to calm down. Calm down.
そもそも
What I don't understand is how the cause can change, but the effects can stay the same.
因果が歪んでいるとしか思
It's
え
like
ない
causality itself is broken.
真由里の死の原因は
Maybe
Kiryu
Kiryu
Moeka
Moeka
が
shooting her
発砲する
isn't the real cause of her death.
もっと
Maybe
マ
it's
クロなこ
something
となんじ
larger
ゃ
and
ない
less obvious.
タイムマシンを作ったこと
For example, maybe she dies because we invented the time
セルン
machine,
に
or
ハッキン
because
グしたこ
CERN
とがバレ
discovered
た
our
こと
hacking.
あたりその結果として
If that's the
Mayuri
cause, then it doesn't really matter how she
そう
dies.
考えるなら
Causality remains
因果は
intact.
歪んでないって言える
苗に背中を押されて
And that theory explains why Nai pushed her in front of a train?
それで説明できる
そっか
Oh, right. Hmm.
でも因
Anyway,
果率は絶対のル
principle
ー
of
ルなの
causality is absolute.
それを否定したら
Deny that and you
全て
deny
の
all
物
of
理学も
physics.
否定されてしだから
There must be a
必ず真由里
distinct
が死
cause
ぬの
for
には
Mayuri's death.
原因が
その原因さえ分か
So
る
if we figure out what it is, then maybe we can save her.
そうでもない
Not necessarily.
どういうことだ
What do you mean?
その原因となる出
The
来事が
problem is where the
いつ起
causal
こった
event
という
occurred.
のがあまり時間が経っているよ
If
う
it
で
happened too far in the past,
対処でき
then
ないわ
there's nothing we can do.
タイムリープマシン
But I can travel to any time I had a cell phone, can't I?
どこへでも戻れ
戻れない
No.
予測
It's
だ
still
けど
theoretical.
タイムリ
I
ープマ
believe
シ
the
ンは一度に
one
最
loop
長で
with our
48
machine has
時
a
間しか
maximum
跳
range
躍
of
できない
48 hours.
と思う
48 hours? I can only go back 2 days?
なぜ今さらそんな
Why didn't you tell me that before?
今更って
Before what?
タイム
I
リー
just
プマ
finished
シ
the
ンが
time
完
loop
成したの
machine,
はついさ
remember?
っきじゃない
That's true.
5時間後のお前も
Future, you didn't say anything about it either.
あそういうことか
So that's what you mean.
言い出すタイミ
Maybe
ン
she
グが
just
なか
didn't
った
have
の
the
か
chance.
ね
So how come I can only leap 48 hours?
わからない私も
I don't
マシンの
know.
すべての原理や構造を
Even
理
I
解
don't
して作っ
understand
たわけじゃ
everything
ない
that's going on inside that thing.
連続での跳躍は可能
But you
よ
can do a consecutive
タイムリ
leaps.
ープマシンが存在している
That
限り
is,
ね
as long as the time leap machine exists.
10年後まで
For
タイムリ
example,
ー
if
プ
the
マシ
time
ンが
leap
壊れ
machine
ずに
remains
残っていた
functional
の
for
なら
10 years straight, you could
10
leap
年
back
の
to
時
this
間を
moment 10
遡って
years
くる
from
ことは
now.
できる単純計算で
Of course, it would still take a total of
タイムリープする
1,825
必
leaps,
要がある
so
か
I
ら
don't recommend it.
かなりのリスクになり
Still,
そうだ
it's theoretically
と
possible.
にかく
だったら何も問題
Then what's the problem?
大あり
Weren't you
言ったで
listening?
しょ
As I
タイムリ
said,
ープマシン
as
が
long as the
存在
time
してい
leap
る限
machine
り
exists.
あのマシンはいつ
When
完
was
成
the
した
machine completed? Ah,
そうほんの
exactly.
1時間
An
前
hour ago. August
2010
13th,
年8
2010.
月13日
2
の
p.m. or
午後2時ぐらい
thereabouts.
それ以前には
It didn't
存
exist
在して
before
いない
then.
マシンを使うのは今日の
It's
2時以
impossible
降じ
to
ゃない
use
と
the
不可
machine
能なの
before
よ
2 p.m. today.
つまり
So what you're saying is, count 48 hours back.
8月11日の
I can't go farther back than 2 p.m. on the 11th? Kurisu nods, her expression grave.
おそらく
Most likely.
改良できないのか
Can't you improve it?
将来的にできるかもしれないけど
Eventually, maybe, but
今の
certainly
この
not
状況じゃ
now.
もっときちんとした設備のあるところで
I
お
need a
金
real
をたくさん
laboratory
使っ
with
て
real
きちん
equipment.
としたパーツを
It
使
will be
えば
expensive,
なん
which
とかな
means
る
we
かも
need
しれないけど
sponsors.
それをやろうとしても
And if we go looking, I'm pretty sure CERN would crush us.
未来の私かあんたが
I'd say
未
that
だにタイムリー
I'd
プ
say
し
that
てき
that's
ていない
proven by the fact
と
that
いう
neither
回で
you nor I have leapt from that far in the
証明
future yet.
終了
So basically,
結局
we can't do anything!
ではないかタイムリープマシンがあっても
Everything with a time limit machine! We can't stop CERN from killing Mayuri 5 hours from now!
ないのかよ
That moment, I hear a sound from outside the window. What? Is it Moeka? Did she overhear us? I dash to the window and look down at the street. It's Suzuha. Her bicycle has fallen over, and she's scurrying to pick it up. Our eyes meet. Huh? Why does she look so pale? Her lips move slightly. It looks like she's whispering something, but I can't make it out from here.
What?
Hey! I call out to Suzuha, but she leaps onto her bike and zips away. She's acting strange. I smell a conspiracy. Moeka was a spy. Could Suzuha be the same? It's too dangerous to trust anyone. Suzuha has exhibited suspicious behavior, though not as much as Moeka has. She's openly hostile towards Kurisu, and she was able to take down CERN's hit squad single-handedly. I wonder if this missing father of hers really exists. Could he be the John Titor who has been posting on the internet? What is the meaning of the name Barrel Titor? Instinct tells me that she knows something. I dash out of the lab. Hey, where are you going? I know I don't have much chance of catching her on foot, but I have to try. There's something going on here. This is a completely new sequence of events. According to my memories of the future, Suzuha is supposed to remain at the Braun-Tube workshop until 6:30 this evening. But when she overheard me talking to Kurisu, she suddenly took off like a bat out of hell. This has to mean something. Suzuha's already out of sight, but when she left, she was heading out for Chuodori. I wonder if her phone's on. Maybe I should just try calling her. Come to think of it, this reminds me of something. On the day she failed to meet her father, she disappeared without a word. Just an email saying bye. I searched the town, but I couldn't find her, so I sent a D-mail that changed the past in order to make her stay. I'm pretty sure I lost her near the station back then. What happened on that timeline? Where did Suzuha go after failing to find her father? I search up and down for Chuodori, but find no trace of Suzuha or her bike. I have to be careful. There could already be rounders here in Akiba. I combed the area around the station's main exit, but there is no sign of her anywhere. I lost sight of her here before, so I thought she might be close by. Maybe I should corner her on my next time leap, press her for answers before she can escape. I better get back to the lab. I start to walk away from the station, but just then, the people around me gasp and point. Everyone's looking up at the sky. No, not the sky. The satellite embedded in the roof of Radakan. Why now? It's been there for 2 weeks. It's practically a landmark now. But everyone looks like they're seeing it for the first time. So I turn and look up too. Whoa. The lights on the satellite are blinking. Is someone inside? Who? Suzuha? Or could it be Moeka? The satellite has remained silent through all of my previous time leaps. What has changed? Obvious the fact that Suzuha overheard my conversation with Kurisu. Previously I lost sight of her at the station. In other words, right next to Radakan. Suzuha must be up there! Everyone's staring at the satellite. This is my chance to sneak in without being noticed. The shutters are half open, just as they were when I confronted Moeka. I summon my courage and crawl through the crack. When I get inside, the first thing I see is Suzuha's bike lying on the floor. So it is her! What is she trying to do? What is that satellite? And how is it related to John Titor? Is it even a satellite? Nobody knows for sure. I checked online. No satellites fell out of orbit that day. When they do, whether by accident or design, they usually burn up in the atmosphere. It's impossible for one to land in such a perfect condition. So what is it then? A jolt suddenly runs through my body. Could it be a time machine? There's only one way to know for sure. I need to get there before Suzuha does something. The elevator and escalator aren't operating, so I bound up the stairs 2 at a time. My lungs gasp and my legs burn, but I force my body to carry me to the top. There's the satellite, lodged in Radakan's roof. I notice the wires holding it in place. The police must have done that so it won't fall. There's a hatch open on the side of the machine. I see someone moving inside. Suzuha! The person freezes when I shout. I run up to the satellite.
Akabe Rintaro.
Suzuha turns to me with a sad expression. Behind her I can see the interior of the satellite. It's surprisingly simple, without the switches and buttons you'd expect. Instead, there's a black box the size of a desktop PC. There are numbers on the screen. 2010-08-13. And below that, 1975-08-13. The 13th of August. Suzuha reaches out to press a button. Ow! Sparks burst from the panel. She jerks back, her fingertips burned. What are you doing?
It's not working.
You know how to use that thing? She doesn't reply. I see her shoulders sag.
It's not working.
The sparks have been from an electrical shop. My eyes are burning from the smoke. Answer me, Yamame Suzuha. I swallow hard, then ask the question. This is a time machine, isn't it? Are you a time traveler? With her head hung low, Suzuha nods.
I'm
John Titor.
John Titor.
I can't say I didn't call it. There's still a big crowd outside, so we exit the building on the side facing away from the station. Suzuha has calmed down a bit, so I start pressing her for answers. What do you mean you're John Titor?
Exactly what it sounds like. I'm the John Titor who's been posting on that channel.
I thought he was a guy. Suzuha smiles humorlessly.
I fooled you? Yes, my camouflage worked then.
Who are you hiding from?
Son,
Those stories you posted. Were they?
true? Mostly, except a few exceptions.
It's those exceptions that bother me. So you came from 2036, that satellite. That's your time machine.
I was hoping you wouldn't find out, but my time machine went and broke on me. I really screwed up, huh?
I thought Titor's time machine was loaded on a Chevy.
Chevy? That's a car, right? Where'd you hear that?
The Titor in 2000 said so.
2000? That might be me on a different word line. At least I haven't been to 2000. I came straight here from 2036.
So it was someone else? It's true that Titor never posted in 2000, not on the current world line. It doesn't matter, I can worry about that later. What do you know? I press Suzuha for answers, trapping her between me and the wall so she can't escape. You overheard my conversation with Kurisu, right? Why did you run to the time machine? What were you trying to do?
I thought it was my fault.
What?
Because I neglected my mission, Sen was able to put their plan in motion. Is it true?
Suzuha suddenly grabs my shoulders.
Is it true that Sen kills Shina Mayuri?
It's true. I time leaped from 5 hours in the future.
Time leaped. So you guys completed your time machine.
I need answers! What do you mean it's your fault? Suzuha bites her lip and looks away.
I'll tell you everything. I think you need to know. You and Makise Kurisu.
Kurisu? Why Kurisu? I guess I'll find out. If I let Suzuha talk. We should head back to the lab. But first, I offer Suzuha my handkerchief. She looks at me for a second, then takes it out and ties it around her burned hand.
Thanks.
She should probably see a doctor about their hand, but there's no time for that. Mayuri's death is approaching. I just hope she's not in too much pain. I wrap a towel around her hand and to keep people around us from staring.
Welcome back, Ocarina! Oh, Suzu-chan's with you too!
When we get to the lab, Mayuri and Daru were there for some reason. I thought I sent them home. Mayuri gives me a ditzy answer when I ask them.
I really thought we should celebrate the birth of Super Foamwave-chan! So Daru-kun and I went shopping!
I should have known she wouldn't stay away. Kurisu looks as worried as I am. She leans close and whispers in my ear.
What do we do?
Make absolutely sure Mayuri doesn't find out. Kurisu nods slightly. What are you guys whispering about?
How
many times do I have to say it? No party!
Come on, Ocarina! That's no fun!
It's not about fun. I glance at Suzuha. She still looks depressed.
Suzu-san, you feeling okay?
Suzuha, Christina, I have an important matters to discuss. Suzuha, Christina. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Suzuha, Christina, and I have important matters to discuss. That's why I asked you to leave for the day.
Mayushi wants to hear too.
I think he's serious.
But Suzu-san looks sad. Mayushi's worried. Sorry.
Suzuha hangs her head and bites her lip. I know she feels responsible for Mayuri's death. But how is she related? That's what I'm here to find out.
I want Shina Mayuri and Hishida Ritaro to stay. This concerns them too.
If Suzuha says so, then I have no objections. But I quietly pull her aside and remind her not to tell them about Mayuri's impending death. Then I quickly explain Suzuha's true identity. That she posted on @channel as John Taita, and the satellite is really a time machine, and that she came here from the year 2036. A girl from the future? That's awesome! Can I shake your hand? We're not playing around here, Daru.
What year were you born? 2017.
Oh, she's 2. No, she's not. She might be. Ah, no. Time is weird.
That's in 7 years. You haven't been born yet, but you're here.
There's no time to deal with Mayuri's confusion. Alright, Suzuha, let's hear it.
Well, the gist is what I posted on that channel. I came from the future, the year 2036. In my time, the world is a dystopia ruled by CERN. There's no war, no conflict, but no freedom either. Dystopia? A society where every activity is controlled by the government. In a dystopia, you're not allowed to eat bananas unless today's banana eating day. If you break that rule, you'll be thrown in jail without a trial. That's terrible! Mayushi loves bananas!
Forget about the bananas! You're about to die!
I part of the resistance fighting to free humanity from CERN's control. I came to the past to change my present. From your point of view, I guess I should say the future. To change the future.
Change the future? She doesn't sound like she's joking.
What about finding your father? Was that a lie?
Suzuha doesn't answer. Does that mean it was a lie?
CERN is a research institution. They don't have political power. I explained that to John Titus several times online.
Online?
まさかお前
Wait, don't tell me.
栗ご飯と
You're
カメハメハか
Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha! Kurisu turns red and looks away.
Title came forward, so it's only fair that I do. Too.
ならば俺もそれに習おう
In that case, I'll come clean too. I was posting under my true name, Hyoin Kyo.
I know. You harmonized.
Suzuha frowns. She must not like having anything in common with Kurisu. She clears her throat and continues.
CERN is still a research institution in 2036. The world is actually ruled by CERN's secret backers, the Committee of 300.
300人委員会
The Committee of 300?
実在した
They're real? That name was in CERN's top secret documents.
When CERN successfully completed their time machine, they became their sole entity. They became the sole entity with the power over the fourth dimension, time. In just 2 years, they remade the world to serve their purpose.
Just 2 years. But that's only in objective time. I bet CERN's time travelers spent many decades leaping back and forth across history, building the foundation of CERN's rule.
That brings us to you, Makase Kurisu.
Suzuha glares at Kurisu.
In 2036, you're authorized as the mother of the time machine. Apotheosized?
日本語で OK
In Japanese, please.
Apotheosized. As in revered or respected.
She keeps using unusual vocabulary. Or maybe that's normal vocabulary in 2036.
Respected. Huh? I am? In 2010, you pioneered time leap technology. Afterwards, I
can't say contribute with this dumb accent I got for Suzuha.
Afterwards, you contribute to the development of CERN's time machine. That's what I know about Makase Kurisu.
Is that why she treats Kurisu like an enemy?
ならば俺が
Then I must be the father of the time machine, right?
Okabe Rintaro is a terrorist in 2036. You're pretty infamous.
What? Seriously? I'm a terrorist in the future?
I hope CERN built that time machine. I don't believe it. CERN experiments on people against their will. They're a disgrace to scientists everywhere. I would never collaborate with them. But that's how it is in the future. How did the future me explain herself? We've never met. By 2036, you're already dead. Sorry. Well, that's just great. I don't even make it to 50. In my time, there are two kinds of people. Those who live extremely long lives and those who die young under suspicious circumstances. People who act against CERN are erased. They erased me?
Suzuha looks into Kurisu's eyes. For once, she's not glaring at Kurisu.
Maybe you're being used by CERN too. Maybe they took your parents hostage and forced you to work on their time machine. No. Does that mean Mama's in danger?
Karisu's mother is in America. It's not terribly difficult to imagine CERN kidnapping her while Karisu is away. After all, I watched Moeka kill Mayuri in cold blood.
ラウンダー
Rounders.
何それ
What's that?
セルンの傭兵部隊
CERN's private army, or something like that. Suzuha nods.
名目上は
On paper, they're an independent technology research firm. In reality, they do the dirty work for CERN all over the world.
According to Moeka, they have two chief duties. First, to acquire IBM 5100s, the only computers that can access CERN's secret database. Second, to find promising scientists in the field of time travel and force them to cooperate with CERN, or eliminate them if they will not.
So they already exist. I thought they might. In my time, they're our number one enemy.
汚れ役ってことは
Dirty work?
まさか
Does that mean like
誘拐とか
kidnappings and
暗殺とかも
assassinations? Suzuha looks at me with a question in her eyes. I shake my head.
私の時代では
In my time,
そうい
yes.
うこともして
But
た
I don't think they've reached that level in this time
今
yet.
はまだそこまでしてないんじゃないかな
Daryl is visibly relieved.
ねえ天音さん、
Mommy
あな
san,
たさっき
you said that most of what you posted as John Titor was
ほ
true,
ぼ全
right?
て事実だ
そうだよ
Right.
ということは、
Does
あ
that
な
mean
た
you
は
know
世
how the
界の構
universe
造につい
works?
て把握してる
You claim that the Everett Wheeler model, the many
Everett
worlds interpretation, is
Wheeler model.
correct.
いわゆる多世界解釈で説明できるってあな
あれはフェイク情報
That was a lie.
セリに目を
Camouflage
つけ
so
ら
that
れ
CERN
ないため
wouldn't
の
target
カム
me.
フラージュ本当の中に
If
嘘
I
を
mix
一つ
one
混
lie
ぜ
to the
ると
truth,
途
then
端
the
に
bad
全体
apple
が嘘
soils
く
the
さくなる
barrel.
んだ
じゃあ把握
So
は
you
してない
don't
の
know.
してるよ
I do. By 2036, scientists have successfully modeled the structure of the
世界の
universe.
構造は解
And
明
it's
され
not
て
the
るんだ
many worlds interpretation.
多世界
本当に
Really?
詳しく教
Tell
えて
me!
アトラクタフィールド
Attractor fields.
そう
Right.
岡部
I
倫
told
太
you
郎
by
には
mail, didn't I?
メールで直接
それどん
What
な
sort
解
of
釈なの
model is that?
世界は
The universe is made up
世
of
界
world
線と
lines and
アトラク
attractor
タフィールド
fields.
でできてる
Suzuha walks over to Mayuri sewing and picks up a red ball of yarn. She holds one end of the yarn and drops the ball to the floor, then holds about a meter of yarn in front of her face.
世界の構造は
The universe is like this piece of yarn.
いくつもの可能性
Countless
世界線
possible
が
word
重ね
lines
合わせ
exist
た
side by
状態になって
side, branching out to infinity.
常に全体を見ると
From a distance, it looks like a single string, but when you look closer, the string is actually made up
よ
of
り細い
individual
糸が
threads
絡
woven
み合うよ
together.
うに世界を構成してそして
At the end, those threads converge to us on a
それら
single
の
point.
細い糸は
The paths are different, but the destinations are the same.
それって
Isn't that
決定論じゃない
determinism?
の
近いかもね
Close.
でも
This model is a
も
little
うちょっと
looser.
幅多世界解釈と
You could say it cherry picks from the many worlds interpretation and the Copenhagen interpretation.
分岐はするが結末は
If the
同じ
branches all lead to the same place, does that mean there's only one world in the end?
世界
そういうこと
Exactly.
でその収
The
束
bundle of
範囲
world
内
lines
にあ
that
る
share a
世界
point
線
of convergence is called the
アト
attractor
ラクタ
field.
フィールドアトラクタフィールドもたく
There
さ
are
ん
also many attractor fields.
このより糸は
The string is the attractor field alpha. The threads are alpha world
範囲内
lines.
にあるのはアルファ世界線
Suzuha then cuts a meter length of blue, yellow, and white yarn.
青がアトラクタフィールド
Blue is beta, yellow is gamma, and white is delta.
それぞれベータ世界線や
Each is made up of countless beta world lines, gamma world lines, or delta world lines.
範囲内にたくさん内包し
She
て
twists the different colored strings together, then stretches them out as one fat multicolored string.
アトラクタフィールドも
Attractor fields are superpositioned like this.
重ね合わせそれぞれのアトラクタフ
In
ィ
each
ール
attractor
ド
field, the world line
起きる事象は
convergence on a.
収束する結果も違う
In each attractor field, the world lines converge on a different result.
干渉性は喪失
They don't
してるわけ
interact. Each attractor
そ
field
れ
is
ぞれ
independent
独
of the
立を保
others.
っている元をたどれば一つだ
Of
し
course, they all diverge from a common point somewhere in the past,
さらにマクロ
and
な
they will all
視点で
converge
見れば
again at some point in the future.
その
But that takes many
何
hundreds
百
of
年
years.
というレベルなんだ
You can think of attractor fields
と見ればいいかな
as very long world lines.
Can you compare it to an eroge? Teach me, oh erotic one.
エロい人なんていない
There's no erotic one here.
いや
No, he's right. It is like an eroge. Each heroine's route is an attractor field, and the small choices within are the individual word lines.
それしかし最後には
But at the end, they all enter with the true route for the grand ending. The only difference is the length of the common parts. By the way, I choose the little sister's attractor field. Ew! Why, Daru? Why?
勝手にしろ
You're just gross. Whatever.
ダメだこいつら
You guys are
早くなんと
hopeless.
かしないと
Better do something quick.
えっと
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
ってのがよ
真剣に受け取らなくて
Just
いいよ
ignore them.
Let me get this straight. The reason I can't save Mayuri is that her death is the event upon which this attractor field converges. But that means the world is really killing Mayuri. But then, isn't it impossible to change the future? It always converges in the end, right? No matter what you do, the result is the same. That's right. That's why Mayuri dies no matter how many times I leap.
今私たち
We have to escape attractor field alpha.
範囲外
Escape?
つまり
In other words, we're going to jump to a world line in attractor field beta.
飛び移るってこと
干渉できないんじゃ
I thought attractor fields couldn't interact.
アトラクタフィールド同士
Attractor fields are normally
分岐
separate.
しちゃったらね
But if we go to the instance they diverge,
ま
分岐する瞬間
the instant they diverge.
それが今だ
Is that now?
ダイバージェンスが
I was told that major divergence occurs in 2010.
私は2000年や1900
This year, an earth-shattering event causes divergence at the attractor field level.
アトラク
The
タ
last
フィ
time
ールド
such
で
divergence occurred was in the year 2000, and before that, 1991.
The years tighter it appeared.
えっとなんで2000年と
What happened those years?
91年なの
I'm gonna assume one of them's Y2K. Don't know what 1991
ど
could
っち
be.
も世界規模の大きな事件があっ
Events
た
that
じゃん
changed the face of the world.
事件
Huh?
1991年は
1991 was the collapse of the Soviet Union, right?
だが2000年
But
は
what happened in what happened in 2000?
同時多発テロが
2001 at the 9/11 attacks.
2000年は
Year 2000 problem.
Yeah, Y2K. The fabled Y2K, where nothing happened. Y2K? That was just hype, nothing happened.
それは
As because the world line alpha
このアルファ
where all represents the world where Y2K didn't occur.
起きなかった可能性世
So
界
in other words, there are world lines where it did occur.
そして
And that brings us to 2010.
今年って
Something big happened this
大
year.
きな事今年最大の
Yes,
事件
us. We happened.
What else could it be?
Suzuha looks toward the development room.
人類史上初の
But the creation of humanity's first time
開発成功以
machine.
外に何があるってあそう
Yeah!
だ
Oh!
よねすごい
もう一つ疑問が
One more question.
Kurisu keeps plowing ahead. I guess that one makes her a scientist.
重ね合わせ状態にある世
These
界
world
線
lines aren't parallel worlds, are
パラ
they?
レルワールドってわけじゃないんです
違うよ
No. Ultimately, they're just possibilities that exist
可能性世界
simultaneously.
線がどう
そうだとして世界線間の
How
観
do you
測は
observe
どう
the
やる
differences between world lines?
神の視点でも持たなき
When
ゃ
you need a god's eye to view to do that?
普通ならね
Normally. However,
Suzuha looks at me. Don't tell me.
リーディングしたいなか
Frieding Steiner?
そういうネーミングなの
is that what you call it?
岡部倫太郎
Akabe Rintaro, you have the power to observe changes across world lines, correct?
特殊な力がある
ああ
Yeah.
それが鍵になる
That's the key.
君の特殊な力が
Your power is the key to freeing the will from
世界
CERN's
の支配
rule.
っていう呪縛から今の君は
You have the power
神
of
に
a
匹敵す
god.
る存在なんだよ
俺の力が
My power.
アトラクタフィールドアルフ
If you
ァ
escape
に
attractor field alpha and reach a beta world line,
到達すれ
and the
ば
result will change.
収束する結果も変わる
Feel a shiver of excitement.
助けられるのか
So there's hope? I can save Mayuri? Suzuha nods firmly. Then I must do it. I have no choice.
ちょっと待って。
Wait a second.
Kurisu, however, is not so enthusiastic.
それ、本当に全部
How do we
正
know
しい
if
の
all this is true?
天音さん
What
の
if a
妄
mommy
想
son
が
is just making
混じってる
stuff
可
up?
能性は
What? I'm not making stuff up!
落ち着け。
Calm
別
down,
に
I'm not
喧嘩
trying
を
to
売っ
pick
て
a
るわけ
fight.
じゃない。ただ、
But I still have
疑問なのよ。
questions.
そもそ
One,
も
how
ど
do
う
you
して
know
あな
about
たが
Akabi's power?
岡部が持ってる
Two,
力とか
how do you know Akabi and I were in
2010
Akihabara in
年の
2010?
私がこの2017年生まれ
But
に
you
して
know a
は
little too much for someone born in 2017.
She has a point. Everyone looks to Suzuha.
お父さんの遺書に
It was written in Dad's will.
His will.
遺書って
What do you
ど
mean?
ういうこと？私がタイムトラベルを決意したのは
His will was what made me
お
decide
父
to
さん
time
の遺書を
travel.
読んだからお父さんが
My dad was once
私
one
が
of the
所属
founding members of the
レジスタン
resistance.
スの設立
He
メン
hid from CERN and researched time travel on his
バー
own.
とは別にタイムマ未来を変えるため
He
に
wanted to change the future,
でも
but CERN
お
killed
父さん
him.
もだから
That's why I'm here,
私は父さ
to
んの遺
fulfill
書
his dream.
ここにいる
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
Suzuha doesn't look at Kurisu. She still seems to have a grudge against her. Kurisu would never actively cooperate with CERN. I know that, but I just can't say it in front of Suzuha. For some reason, Suzuha really does see Kurisu as responsible for the problems of the future. But if that's the case, why doesn't Suzuha just kill Kurisu? Wouldn't that change the future too? Maybe she can't. World lines convergence. No matter how hard I struggle, Mayuri dies. Similarly, it may be possible for Suzuha to kill Kurisu, no matter how much she may want to. Suzuha clears her throat as if to change the subject.
Akihabara 2010. The time machine created here accelerates CERN's own time travel
セルのタイ
research.
ムマシン開発それを阻止する方法
We have to stop that from happening in order to guide history to a new direction.
そしてどうやって
Stop it! How?
セルは
CERN already
俺
knows
たちの
about
存在
us.
に気づいている
That's clear from Moeka's attack.
原因は
Dad
君た
believed
ち
the
が一番
ultimate
最初にタイムマシ
ultimate
ン
cause was the first email you sent
メ
with
ー
your
ルデータ
time
だと
machine.
思う
メールデータ
An email?
ハッキングがバレたのでは
It wasn't because they caught us hacking?
だから僕のハッキングはバ
Like
レ
I
てない
said, no one could catch my hacking.
でも、メールデータ
Which email are you talking about?
あれじゃないかな
Oh, I
クリスちゃんが死ん
Was
だ
that the old green email said the Chris Chan died?
Right. The email sent to Dara right after Dr. Nakabachi's conference.
あ
Oh,
れね。
that.
Back then, we hadn't yet realized the phone wave names to change was a time machine.
その時空を超えた
Sam
メー
probably
ルを
intercepted that email and realized what it meant.
あの時から
They were already onto us back then? Coming to think of it, the first time I met Moeka was the day after I sent that email.
泳がされてたんだな
We really jumped in on the deep end, huh?
マユシーはね
Mayushi's good at the
泳ぎが
breaststroke.
得意だよ
はいはい
Alright then, do a sexy underwear pose.
しかし一体どうやって
But how do they intercept our email?
メールなんて
Hundreds of millions of emails are sent around the world each day.
送られている
セルンは
Sen uses the Echelon network to collect communications pertaining to time travel research worldwide.
エシロンだと
Echelon? Is it Echelon or is it Echelon?
実在して
Because I assumed it was pronounced like Echo, but you just said Echelon. Echelon? It really exists? As an expert on conspiracies, I understand the implications and they terrify me. No one else seems to get what Suzuha is saying, though.
セルンはさ
Echelon
自分
sees
たち以外
everything.
のタイムトラベル
Any
検知
transmission that even hints at time
エシロ
travel
ン
is
常
filtered
に
and
アン
sent
テ
to
ナを張っ
CERN.
て監視してるんだよ
For example, an email that appears to have come from the future.
だから捉えられ
We need to
た
find the
最初のメール
record
デー
of
タを
the email in
セル
CERN's
ンのコンピューター
database and
から
delete
消去
it.
しなきゃそうすれば
If If you do that, then CERN will never know you exist. The time machine won't be complete in 2034, and if we're lucky, the program may be shut down entirely.
In other words, deleting that data will take us to the attractor field where CERN doesn't build a time machine. There wasn't any data like that when we hacked CERN's database.
The IBM 5100.
Oh! Of course! CERN's IBM 5100 database!
That's probably where they stole the data from Echelon.
So that's what it is! Damn it, Daru, why didn't we use the IBM 5100 earlier? We never had one? What are you talking about? I got one, remember? Huh? Right, that was on a different world line. On this world line, I never found the IBM 5100.
My mission is to make sure you acquire the IBM 5100.
You have one? Zua shakes her head.
I'm going to 1975 to obtain one.
1975. The year the IBM 5100 went on the market. I know because John Titor in 2000 said that was his mission. Was that John Titor Suzuha too? Anyway, if Suzuha can get us an IBM 5100, then we can leave the attractor field and jump onto a beta world line where CERN never finds us out, and the time machine will never be completed. Mayuri won't have to die. Alright, we need to move fast. How soon can you leave, Suzuha?
I was trying to leave when you caught me, but...
Suzuha bows her head apologetically. I look at her blunt head. She's hiding it from Mayuri and Daru, but I can see the blood staining my handkerchief. I may have read that as blunt when it probably said burned looking at it, but whatever. It hurts to look at. Maybe we should get her to a doctor. Right. Your time machine's broken.
Can you fix it? No, I just write it. My dad's the one who built it. I memorized the manual, so I know how it works, but...
That doesn't mean she knows how to repair it. And there's no guarantee that a time machine from 2036 can be repaired with today's technology.
We can use the time leap machine and go back before our mommy-sen's time machine broke.
Wait, you're going to use the time leap machine? Wasn't the plan not to experiment? I still haven't told Daru about my time leaping. There is no time to explain. We use it if the situation demands. Do you know when it broke, Suzuha?
No. It was probably the rain a few days ago. It's supposed to be airtight, but the inside was all wet when I checked it today.
Maybe it was a hole when you crashed into Radakan.
That wasn't a crash. The coordinates were slightly off, so it just appeared there. It's not exactly the most stable machine.
Anyone remember when it rained?
The morning of the 10th, just before dawn.
Time leap machine can only cover 48 hours in a single leap. And the time leap machine was complete today, the 13th, at 2 p.m. That means we can't go further back than 2 p.m. on the 11th. Damn. We can't get there with the time leap machine. I thought we had a glimmer of hope. I think we should try and fix it.
Yeah! If it's a time machine, we should have plenty of time, right?
Kurisu, Suzuha, and I say nothing. We know. In less than 2 hours, Mayuri will die. It's already 5:30. There's barely enough time to sneak into Radakan, let alone fix Suzuha's time machine. Maybe I should leap now to 2 p.m. on the 11th. Then we'll have 2 full days to fix the machine. You're all hungry, aren't you? You should be. What's this all of a sudden?
Mayushi's hungry!
As expected from a glutton. I take 10,000 yen bill out of my wallet.
マユリ、ダル、
Mayuri, Daru,
買い出しに行ってきて。
I leave the shopping to you.
それを食べながら。
We can come up with a
あ
plan
なた
while
の
you
対
eat.
策を練ろうではない。
Wow, good. What are you gonna do with all this? What are you gonna do with all this money?
これで買ってこい。
Buy food.
と言って
Lots of food. Use it all.
平然と1万円
You just calmly hand over a 10,000 yen bill. Wow, Okarin, you make it look easy. That's why we love you. That's why we admire you. Mayuri and Daru leave in high spirits. I know the 10,000 yen bill would work.
クリスティーナ、
Christina,
それに
Taita,
タイターって
Tighter.
私の
Is that me?
他に誰がいる？
who else?
なんでいきなり呼び
Why are you calling me that now?
タイターの中の人だ。
Because you're the one behind Taita's mask.
そうだけどさ
Well, yeah, but
無駄よ
just give up.
岡部がまともに名前を
Okabe
呼
rarely
ぶこと
calls
なんて
anyone by their
めった
name.
にないから
そういえば私も
Oh yeah, he always calls me part-time warrior for some reason.
されてなかった。
二人とも聞け。
Listen, you two. I'm going to leap to 2 p.m. on the
11日の
11th.
14時にタイム。そこで
After Taita explains herself again, we'll start repairs on the time machine. Our goal is to have it working by this time today.
当てはあるの
Is that the best plan?
今から2時間も
It's better than trying to fix it when we only have 2 hours left. If it doesn't work, I'll just keep repeating the same 2 days.
何度
I'm sorry.
タイター
Taita,
お前に
we're counting on you to get us that IBM 5100.
手に入れてもらわな。これはお前のために
Never forget,
未来のため
I'm not doing this for you, and I'm not doing it for the future. My mission is to save Mayuri.
ミッションである。独善的だと言いたく
Call me
ないよ。
self-righteous if you want. However,
誰の指図も
I'm doing this my way. Kurusu and Suzuha give me an encouraging nod in agreement.
よし
Good.
作戦
Then let's begin.
作戦名は言わない
You're
の
not going to begin. You're not going to name the operation?
Who cares about that? This isn't a game. Mayuri's life hangs in the balance.
北欧神話でいいネーミ
You're
ング
gonna
候
find
補
a
が
good
見つから
Norse
なかった
mythology themed name?
なんで北欧神
Why
話
Norse mythology?
深い意味はないと思う
I don't think there's a deep meaning
あえて言うなら
behind it.
中二病
Trinibio
患者は
patients
ゲ
just
ルマ
love
ン系ネ
dramatic
ーミン
names
グ
for
が
some
大好きだ
reason.
から
そういえば
Now that you mention it, most of our operation names in the Resistance have dramatic names
ゲルマ
too.
ン系のネーミングだったの
Whenever I ask, they say it's
なんでって
tradition.
聞いたら
26年後にも
There's still Chunibyo in 2036.
くだらない会話をして
Cut the chatter! Mayuri's life hangs in the balance! There's no time for this nonsense! Kurisu sets up the time leap machine while Suzuha goes to turn on I keep saying 24, 42-inch CRT. Well, before Mayuri returns, I leap. Gotta tell Kurisu she needs her own fork! I'm still umming and ahhing over whether that sounds like a euphemism or not.